I'm Julia Szabo, also known as Pet Reporter, and I am the Living with Dogs columnist for Dogster.com. I've actually written 6 books, and I'm hard at work on my next one. It will be about dogs. That's as much as I can say right now. I love dogs, and I think nobody's life is complete without one. So I'm here to tell you about a variety of different dog breeds that might suit your lifestyle. I hope you'll adopt one soon. The Doberman is a beautiful, beautiful breed of dog. He was actually created by a German tax collector named Carl Friedrich Louis Doberman in Germany in the 19th century. Mr. Doberman wanted a dog who would come with him and be intimidating looking enough that he could go into, among angry people when he was collecting taxes. So, of course, the Doberman does have that intimidating look to him. But he is just a wonderful sweetheart of a dog. A friend of mine is a photographer. Her name is Heather Green, and she actually photographs dogs. That's her profession. She does beautiful portraits. And one of her own 3 dogs is a Doberman named Jaden. And Jaden is really just, she knows how beautiful she is, and she vogues, and she poses, and she comes and cuddles right on your lap. And she literally, she comes and sits on my chest when I go visit. So if properly cared for and properly trained, just like any dog, a Doberman makes a wonderful, wonderful companion. They have a little aspect of the Greyhound, a little aspect of the Rottweiler. They're just beautiful. With a Doberman, you really want to be engaged with this dog. You want to train him or her. You want to do stuff with the dog. You don't want to leave her alone, because she's really into you, and she's so intelligent and such an athlete. So ideally, you're a person who really loves hanging out with your dog, is active. At the very least, you like to walk 3 or 4 times a day. It's a mental athlete and a physical athlete, so that's a lot of dog. But you know what? There are a lot of people who are up to the challenge. It's just a beautiful breed, and definitely one of the breeds that, if I live long enough, I hope I get to have. The French Bulldog is an adorable little companion. So adorable, in fact, that there are French Bulldog meetup groups literally in every city in America, pretty much. And these people take their dogs and their dogs' social lives so very seriously. They love getting together and just celebrating every aspect of having and living with and loving a French Bulldog. They are a classic example of what's called in Latin multum in parvo. That's a big sort of dog fancier's term, which really means a big dog in a small package. I think that's probably the secret to the popularity of the French Bulldog, is that it is a small dog, but it's a tough little dog. It's built like a mini Mack truck and has a wide chest and a certain tough bully stance. And they're so sweet and cute. The only thing you have to remember with a French Bulldog is that they have what's called a brachycephalic conformation, which means they have a short, pushed-in face. And that's exactly why we find them so cute, because they look like little bats or little froggies. But that conformation actually makes it hard for them to breathe in very high temperatures. So if it gets really hot outside in the summer, you want to be sure to have air conditioning for your Frenchie. You want to maybe not take her out at the high point of the day when it's like 1 p.m. and 1:10 in the shade. So just a few considerations for your Frenchie, and you can have just years of fun with this little clown. Probably the greatest dog star in the Hollywood firmament was a German Shepherd named Rin Tin Tin. This dog was really extraordinary. He was gorgeous, he had talent, he could do lots of tricks, and he had a really interesting real life story that was probably even more compelling than the characters that he played. He was discovered and rescued by an American serviceman during World War I in a bombed-out French kennel. Because of Rin Tin Tin, the German Shepherd became very, very popular with all kinds of filmmakers, both big screen and TV. There was a great show in the 70s called Run, Joe, Run. And this was like a canine version of The Fugitive. There was this German Shepherd, and he was accused of having done something very bad, which he was innocent of. And he was constantly on the run. That is one of the reasons why I rescue so many dogs, all right, is that show. And the German Shepherd will always have a special place in my heart, just as he does for so many people. If you want to have a shepherd, I hope that you want to treat him or her nicely, and you don't want to use him or her to intimidate anyone, because that's really not cool. These dogs are just, they're cuddly bears, they're huggy bears, and they're incredibly attached to their owners. They can suffer separation anxiety. You want to spend a lot of time with this dog. It's not the kind of dog you want to just tie up outside or leave inside alone. This is why they're really great at guide work and police work, search and rescue. They're incredible with the blind. They're incredible service dogs in general. So really, if you want a German Shepherd, make time for him or her, because it's really worth it. The Great Dane really is a great dog, and there's so much to say. In terms of popular culture, the Great Dane really kind of rules. The Great Dane has really become part of our collective American family thanks to the cartoon strip Marmaduke. There's Marmaduke the movie, but there's also television shows. There's the famous Scooby-Doo. And to judge from Scooby-Doo, you might not think that this dog is super intelligent, but he is. He's a wonderful, wonderful dog. He is also a lot of fun. He's very gentle despite his size. He's known as the gentle giant. The Great Dane is also super handsome. Nothing really is quite as majestic as a Great Dane just sort of standing there looking princely. They are like miniature horses practically. They're that big. They can get to be as big as 180 pounds. So you're looking at a super gentle dog that is big, that doesn't always know he's big. So as a puppy, maybe you don't want to have him on the bed and in your lap, because he's going to get used to that. And what are you going to do when he's 200 pounds? So, if you're ready for a 200-pound lap dog, fine. Otherwise, do work in terms of training with having him have his own dog bed and his own chair. Even a lot of Great Dane owners give their dog their own chair. The only downside to having a Great Dane is their short lifespan. Sadly, because they're such a giant breed, they only live to about 8 or 9 years old. It's always hard to say goodbye to our dog friends, but it's especially hard, if I dare say twice as hard, when they only live to 8 or 9 years old. So you have to sort of steel yourself for that when you fall in love with a Great Dane, because their time on earth really is limited, and you want to make it the best you can. The Labrador Retriever is probably one of the most popular breeds in the world. Certainly in America, it's always in the top 3 of most popular breeds. They're incredibly great dogs. They can be trained to do so many things. The most recent interesting application for Labradors in terms of helping humans is that they're amazing at detecting the sugar low that people with diabetes experience. So there are actually what's called Dogs for Diabetics. That's the group that trains them. And what they do is they take dogs, Labradors, who didn't make it through all the way to the Guide Dogs for the Blind program, and for whatever reason they flunked. Maybe they like to rearrange a person's shoes, and you can't do that to a blind person. So that dog still has all that amazing training. So they're recycled to actually help people with diabetes. So Labs are incredible. They're very playful. They're very athletic. They love an athletic owner. A friend of mine, she's an editor and a writer, and she runs every single day with her lab. She's actually a marathon runner, and the way she stays in shape is running with her lab, and the lab stays in shape, stays happy, doesn't destroy the house. They're amazing water dogs. They love to be around the water. So if your lifestyle in any way incorporates swimming or boating or any of those things, they would love to be with you. The Maltese is a beautiful, beautiful little dog. She's tiny, she's about 6-7 pounds, silky white hair that's more like human hair than doggy fur. And she just wants to be cuddled. That's her job in life, that's her mission, is just to love and be loved in return. Interestingly, throughout history, the Maltese was a very popular, what's known as sleeve dog. In the olden days, ladies used to wear these long gowns with very voluminous sleeves, and the sleeves were so big that they could actually accommodate a little creature. And so the Maltese, you just couldn't ask for a chicer little fashion accessory than this little shock of white fur to accent your outfit. The Maltese continues to be fashionable because so many chic women like to carry them around. And one of those is Halle Berry. She has 2 of them. So, you know, it's interesting. It's kind of a fashionable legacy for this little dog. It's important to remember with little dogs that even though sometimes they look like toys and they are cuddly like toys, that they're not toys, okay? They are dogs, they are animals, and they benefit from training the same way a big pit bull does. Let's say there's a big dog and the little dog rages at the big dog. I see this at least once or twice a day. The owner will grab their little dog and hold her tight, but what this does is this tells the big dog that the little dog is a toy. It's actually endangering the little dog to do that. So this is why it really behooves us as little dog lovers to treat our little dogs the same way we do our big dogs, okay? Of course, we wouldn't roughhouse with them the same way, but we do need to give them the same considerations of training and just basic good manners.